Then maybe I should start. You've probably seen my face before if you joined any of the webinars. I'm a teacher at Waardenborg Secondary School in the Netherlands, in the town of Goor, which is in the east of the country. I've been teaching for quite a number of years, and I've been in this project for about 1.5 years. Next, Bernadine, maybe?
Yeah, my name is Bernadine, head teacher of OBS Stedeke, school with around 200 students in Diepenheim in the Netherlands. Diepenheim is also a small village, we call it a village, in the east of the Netherlands.
Okay, Gitte, maybe?
Yes. Hi, my name is Gitte, and I'm from Denmark, from Kolding, which is a city in the southern eastern part of Denmark. And I'm a teacher at a secondary school. And I'm the project coordinator for my school. I've been teaching English for about 22 years.
Thank you, Gitte. Martin?
Yes, my name is Martin Brettauer. I'm the headmaster or head teacher at Vesternebel School, which is a small school with 230 pupils. And our secondary school is where Gitte is at, who just introduced herself for me. So our schools are in close proximity of each other.
Johanna? I hope Johanna is still there.
Yes, I am. I thought you said Hanna. But
Yeah.
hello, everybody. My name is Johanna Valman, and I am from Finland, from Lappeenranta. And Lappeenranta is on eastern side of Finland. I work as a special education teacher in Pontus School. It's primary school, and there is around 320 students.
Thank you.
And Hanna.
And now we go to Hannah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Hanna. I work at Kimpinen Comprehensive School, also in Lappeenranta. I teach English and Spanish in a primary and secondary school.
Thank you, Hannah. Nala?
Yeah, I'm here as the co-writer of the project, actually. So for more than 2 years, we have been working on the project with all these 9 schools as goal testing. I work as an education advisor and a teacher trainer for goal testing. We are also supporting the schools to get the assessments, to get access to assessments and how to read the data out from the assessment and what they can do with the assessment results, what changes are possible in their schools. This is what we have done basically for 2 years, the schools.
Thank you. I hope that Jasper is there.
I'm here.
Yes.
Yes, Jasper, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Jasper Kok, and I'm the project coordinator. And together with Nyland again, we wrote the project. And I'm happy to be here in the last of the 8 webinars. It's been a long run, Lisa, but really happy to take part in the final one. As project coordinator, I'll be the one asking some questions, I think, and trying to moderate also this webinar a little bit together with Lisa, I presume. And I'm really happy that we already had some questions in the application of the people who are joining in this webinar. So that's really good as well. So welcome everybody. So Lisa.
Thank you, Jasper. Yeah, well, I'm glad to see you. You could start. Just we've introduced ourselves, so please start your questions, I would say.
Yes, of course. Yeah. So we have some discussion questions for you, and then in between we will add the questions that are asked by the people joining the webinar. If you have a question, you can put it in the chat, and I will happily try to answer it. So first question, in this wonderful project, is the project is not introduced yet, I think, so I can do it really shortly. We have a 2-year project that's been designed to improve the way we teach English to make it in a more hybrid form and to be able to differentiate more and maybe even start individualizing or personalizing learning English. And for that, all schools in this project have used the wonderful assessments of TOEFL YSS, Young Student Series, TOEFL Primary and Junior, to get a good starting point for learning. So one of the biggest thing in this project is to have the assessments and the test results at the beginning of the learning process. And then we have had several training weeks to train the teachers. Okay, if you have this information about your levels of the children that are in front of you, what can it mean for your teaching? What can it change? What should it change? And what materials are necessary to use? So we've set up training, and all teachers in the project have started and trying out new things after teacher training weeks and have shared their experiences in the groups and worked together with them online and also physically. So that's the bottom line of what we have been doing in the project. Well, my first question is then also, what's the biggest takeaway for your students who are participating in this project? We try to shake things up a little bit with English teaching. So what's the biggest takeaway you think in your school? Who can I give first? Maybe Martin?
Well, for the two teachers, the English teachers that I've had with me in the project, I think the biggest takeaway for me as a headmaster is that my teachers are now way better equipped to teach. They're more knowledgeable about differentiation. They've tried the assessments and seen how they can be used in teaching and preparing their teaching. They now know more about how to look at the children's individual needs and continuous learning paths. So I think my pupils, my students, have better teachers because they have participated in this project.
Well, that's a key takeaway, Martin. Lovely to hear that as well. Hannah, is there anything that you would like to share about this as well?
Yes, I think from the students' point of view, the biggest takeaway has been a possibility to Denmark, and our students have been really interested in doing these assignments because they know that other people who don't speak Finnish are going to read them or watch them or whatever the assignment has been. So that has been really interesting for the students.
Wonderful. Good, Hannah. And Kide?
Yes, it's very difficult just to mention a few takeaways, but I think for my students, the key takeaway has been the assessments, because it is a completely new way of assessing or testing students. And in Denmark, we're used to assessing or testing students to grade them, to be able to grade them and present the grade to them and to the parents. And grading is very nice when you're exceeding in English. Getting a good grade is very nice. But if you're struggling with English, it's not that nice, and it can be, you can lose interest in learning English. But if you get an assessment result, like with the TOEFL YSS, and you get the results and you get the feed forward as well, and you know what to focus on, and you actually also get an understanding of that you are good at something in English, it keeps you motivated and it keeps you going. So many of my students, they felt really proud when they received their certificate. And I think this has been the biggest takeaway for my students. And of course, like it was said, building a network with not just for the teachers, but also for the students, building a solid European network and communicating in their spare time on Snapchat or whatever they use. So using English in practice, that has been really nice too.
Yeah. Wonderful. And maybe a question that's been asked from the registration is a good addition here. So to participate in a EU Erasmus Plus project is not a small thing. Then also to be challenged to try to change the way you teach and the children learn English. So how were teachers prepared for participating in the project?
I'd like to touch upon that because we came into the project through or by not by chance, but we were invited into the project because there was another school that wasn't able to participate. So we weren't we hadn't chosen the project for ourselves. But reflecting back, I think I would have had a hard time if we had chosen or found the project ourselves. I think it would have been hard to prepare the teachers for what was coming.
Yes.
I know if we participate in another EU project another time, I'd be much better be able to prepare our teachers. I actually don't think I knew what was coming because as you said, Jesper, and Hannah has touched upon that as well. That it's a lot of work, but it's also it's very different working with teachers from other countries compared to working with teachers in your own country who knows the school system. So there's a lot of knowledge that has to be exchanged before we are on the same page. So and that's an experience that I know now that I didn't know when we started. And I think that my two teachers have experienced the same thing. That one thing is that you can have your online meetings. It's the technology is there. You're able to have and we've had meetings in person as well. We have the time, we have scheduled the meetings and so forth. But getting the project going the way we envisioned it and we wanted is not always that easy. It's a task in working together like this across countries.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Martin. Anyone wants to add to that? I saw a doubtful hand of Guide, maybe.
This project has been a great gift in many ways, but it has also been a struggle. And one of the biggest challenges I have met as a coordinator is to keep the fire going among the teachers. So when we're in these teacher training weeks, we're all really, really focused and we all want to continue and we say, yay, this is so great. And then when we get home, we have a full schedule of other tasks that needs doing right now. So the project kind of gets in the background and then it's very easy to lose motivation. Mm-hmm. So for me as a coordinator, next time I would like to get the magic wand that would tell me how to keep teachers motivated throughout a two-year or 3-year project. When so much of it is based on online activities among the teachers. When we meet physically, it's not a problem. But yeah.
No, that's highly motivating because you all share the same passion, which is teaching.
Yeah.
And of course, we've started in a rough period with the Corona. Also, this project is a special Corona edition, we can say, of the K201. And well, Corona had quite an effect also on the energy of teachers because they've worked in all countries incredibly hard to keep the normal educational fire going, and then to also start a project like this, which is asks a lot from teachers and staff, is difficult. But all in all, it's we've come a long way, I think, with this project, and I'm still really proud of it. Also, we manage some changes in the classrooms when it comes down to English teaching, which is fantastic, of course, because that was the main idea of the project. Use the data that you have at your disposal in the beginning of the school year to your advantage, and to see what you can do and change in your approach to teaching English. So, Lise, can you tell me something about what way the project changed your approach to teaching English?
It sort of initiated a lot of changes on a lot of different levels. We are a relatively small group of teachers in a relatively small school. We have 3 English teachers in our school, and the project had a real positive effect on the way we cooperate as a team. So there's much more discussion, there's much more exchange of ideas also between teachers in our school. I think it really gave us a boost as English teachers to work together more than we did before. Also, I think we were challenged to let go of all the stuff that we were used to doing and try to incorporate new ideas and new exercises and new ways of thinking about teaching English, because it's really grade oriented. Usually our students would ask us, if we gave them a task, they would ask us if they were graded, yes or no. And now they have to get used to doing things for other goals than just getting a grade. And so we have to work on communicative skills more. And we also have to sort of change our mindset, and we can see already that is working, and that they are more accepting of for students themselves to look at English and English teaching differently, as well as the same as we do as teachers.
Good. Wow, that's wonderful to hear, Lisa. I'm happy that it basically also a mentality changed, not only with the teachers but also with the students for
Absolutely.
a different focus.
Yes.
Wonderful. Hannah, you had something to say about this too, I believe.
Yes, I think this project has changed our way of seeing the assessment. Up to now, we have used assessment in a really traditional way, so that we have taught things first, and then we have tested the students if they know the things that we taught. I think in the future, we will use more assessment in a way of seeing the actual level of the students, so that we do the assessments first, and then based on those assessments, we design our teaching, and that way we can personalize it more for the needs of the individual student.
Yes, well, that's good. That was one of the main aims within the project. We have talked a lot about it, the position of testing and the role of testing and the assessment within the school and towards designing education. So great to hear, Hannah. Thank you. And I was wondering, are there any changes visible in your schools or in the curriculum? Who wants to say something about that?
Yeah, I want to say something about that. Well, not only based on the TOEFL assessments, but also the school visits inspired us. We went to visit the schools in Denmark and also in Finland. And for my school, we were so inspired by the Finnish interior in the schools that we work with Finnish interior designers now, who design our school now, and the whole furniture and all classrooms. And so that's a big change for the Netherlands, because the Finnish interior design is completely different than the Netherlands. But that's what for us, it's a big change and completely new and innovative.
Yes. So this question is closely connected with the next one about the changes in the curriculum and the ideas that you use with the international school visits, because in the project there were also some school visits open to watch some lessons and things that you saw. maybe it makes more sense to go from there to the next question about the changes in the curriculum. So, Lisa, what was your biggest takeaway from the visiting the other schools?
I think we realized as teachers that we had to focus our teaching more on communicative skills. And this is not just, it's sort of in line with the national views, the latest views on how we should teach English. So we will be focusing more on reading, but not just for English, but also for other subjects as well. We've built a library, and one key takeaway that we have introduced, which is completely new to us and that we took away from a visit to Finland, was that in some classes in our school, we have sort of introduced a positive reinforcement system where if certain students finish their work on time and show the right quality of work, I have to explain to you that they get a task for each subject once a week. Every Monday they get a task for that week. And so if these students finish their work on time and they show the right quality, if they do their work well, then after maybe 4 or 5 weeks, they can earn they can choose to miss a lesson. And this is an idea that we sort of loosely based on something that we took away from a school visit in Finland. And so far, we were a bit apprehensive about how it would work, but so far it seems to be working really well. Because students don't just want to finish it, but they also want to produce this quality, and they're quite motivated, and this works really well because they feel like for the first time in a long time, they actually get rewards for doing well. And that's a new way of thinking.
Yes, so more rewards for the process than the end result.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah. So we got a new furniture design. We have focus on process more than end result. So Johanna, what was the thing that you took or saw and you took away from the school visit?
Yes, in Finland we are quite tight in school books. School books are based on curriculum that is national. And during the visits, actually in Denmark and also in the Netherlands, we learned how in many ways we can use pictures in teaching. With those pictures, we have been trying to encourage our students to speak, because Finnish people are not so eager to speak a lot and use English language, but the pictures have helped us too. And the students, especially the students, have been thinking that the speaking is okay when they, for example, have pictures. That encourages them. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Anna. And we
comment on that,
the feature with the Finnish. Yes, Martin, go ahead.
Well, in Denmark, I think we have almost the opposite problem of the Finns, because in Denmark, Danish children love to speak English. They watch a lot of English films at a very young age. They use the internet and they play a lot of computer games. So we actually have young children who are quite good at speaking English. But during this project, I believe that, or I found that our teachers have been more. They've realized that they need to write more and they need to read more, because they tend to the children tend to fall back on, can't we just speak to each other? And because speaking English is easy for them, but also is very easy to incorporate on at a classroom level, and everybody's active and happy and so forth, it tends to take over, or we use too much time speaking and too little time reading and writing. Maybe that's just something for that's come up at our school. I don't know, but it's certainly some a takeaway from this project as well.
Okay, well, that's really good, Martin. And it's lovely to see that also for the how everyone's teaching now, that there's something international in, although not visible, but it improves the teaching quality for all students. And at the end, that's where we work for, I think. So are there any other changes visible in the schools or curriculum? Not necessarily things you saw in the other schools, but maybe some things have changed in the curriculum.
Yeah, now you were basically saying just what I wanted to say about internationalization, because we teach English, and I mean, that's the language of I hate that word, sorry, internationalization, awful word. So we teach it, but we don't use it actively. So with this project, I think we learned, and we hope that it will continue to be a part of the curriculum for every grade, every level, that you use it actively in collaboration with other European partners, for instance. So to use English actively should be there for every grade in some part, either if it's sending a letter or sending a picture with a description of your house or whatever, or having conversations online with students from, let's say, Finland. It should be part of the curriculum every year. So that's what we strive to do after this project. So the students will be able to use English as an active language.
And really cool, really practical, and have a great use of it immediately.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Gita. Any other changes in curriculum?
Yeah, for the Netherlands, I think for us as a primary school, the biggest change was that we were very good in differentiation in, for example, math, but we didn't do that at all with English, and all children were doing the same, listening to the teacher, do what the teacher asked them to do. And with TOEFL, we saw that we needed to differentiate with English. So now we work with level classes, all children at their own level, different groups. So groups 6, 7, and 8. So 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. We all mix them up, and they work on their own level. And that what helped them a lot, and they have more fun in English now because it's not too hard or not too easy for them.
Yes, that's great, Bernadine. Also have Hannah here for some input about the question or the changes visible in the curriculum.
Yes.
Hannah, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes, I think I can speak for both Kimpinen and Pontu School here in Finland. We have started to build an English library in both of our schools. At least in Kimpinen, we realized the outcome of the results, of the assessments, that we can see the actual levels of the students, and that way we have been able to find a suitable reading for all the students. And because of that, we started to build a library which is based on different levels, so all the students can find something to read in English. And that is also one of the things that we can boost their motivation, so everybody can find something to read in English. And that is really, really important for the children to realize that they can read in English.
Yes, that was wonderful. And I believe there was also a questionnaire in one or maybe 2 schools to question the children what they wanted. Is that right, Hannah or Johanna?
Yes, actually, I think at least in Kimpinen, but also we had also discussion with the students that what kind of books they would like to read. Yeah. And then when we did some web shopping, and we bought the books from the website. So we were looking the books together with the children.
Yeah, wonderful to incorporate them also there. So that's great, I think. Yeah, thank you, Hannah and Johanna. And about the level and the correct books, Nalan, how does that work with the assessments? Maybe it's good that you tell something about that. How it's possible to set up your library according to the TOEFL assessment.
Yeah, TOEFL Young Student Series gives the students lexile level to us. It measures the students lexile level. So when we have the assessment results, actually, we know where the student exactly stands in terms of the lexile level. So we use this number to match the students with the correct level of materials to their level. So we are that result helps us to actually make the perfect match between the student's level and the reading material. And after that, the students will read in their own level. That will contribute to their English language level improvement. So how we design the libraries, or the schools, I think, design the libraries that they categorize the books in their libraries. For example, not in an alphabetical order anymore, or they can do just in like style levels and use like coloring labels in their libraries. So the students each time go to the matching shelf for themselves. They get whatever book is available for them there within their own levels. And all the students like reading, because the thing that they are reading is still challenging for them, and also not very hard.
Yes. What was it? The sweet reading range or something, I believe, right?
No.
Really. USA, but I love the term that I also use. TOEFL assessments are wonderful. And also, Gita, have you discussed any plans for the future?
Well, yeah, we really like and we really appreciate the participation in this project, and we would like to continue, because also we feel that we have built a very strong and solid network with the schools from both the Danish school, of course, a stronger bond, but also with the Finnish and Dutch schools. So we really wanted to continue to develop this European network. So we have applied for Erasmus accreditation. So we hope, as I understand it, as well with together with the Finnish schools, so we can, and the Dutch schools already have it, so we can continue our work and let the students also continue their collaboration and maybe meet in the future, which would be wonderful. So this project cannot stop now; it needs to keep going. So yeah.
Yeah, and it can slightly shift then to other subjects as well.
Yeah.
And English teaching. Yeah, that's true. What are or were the biggest challenges to participate in a project like this? Or if there are things that you can change now, looking back, what would you do? Are there anyone who wants to? I think everyone has something to say about this one. And the question, of course, if there's another international project, well, gave that away already a little bit. They will continue with their accreditation. What would you say? What would you do differently if you would join an international project based on the experience that you had in this one? So, Martin, maybe first.
Well, I think we already we started this seminar or webinar by speaking about some of the challenges. I'm not certain that there's any shortcut that you can take towards getting to know each other. But if it is at all possible that you can be more effective and more goal-oriented. But when I look back at my own abilities in the start of the project, I don't think I was able to see the clear way through and the end goals. It's much easier to reflect upon that at the end of the project. So I believe you just have to. The project has to have time to find its own feet, and for the participants to find their place and find the values in the project. So it's just a realization, and I don't think you can do anything about it really. A project takes time.
Yes, and cooperation takes time.
Exactly.
Especially international cooperation. Yeah, the gain is big, but the investment is also quite big.
Yes.
Gita, you said something to keep the fire going for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I mentioned that in the beginning, it's a long time, also with when teachers being busy, of course, with other things. But I also think that one of the main things with the teachers is that when you teach, it's very personal. It's your personality that's on the line if people criticize or have questions. So it is always, it can be challenging to find teachers who are actually willing to put themselves out there and are willing to open the door to their teaching and receive thoughts and comments and feedback on their teaching, and be able to also inspire other teachers and be able to give away best practices and learn from best practices. So you need to get to know each other. For most teachers, you need to be a little bit you need to have sort of a relationship before you start opening up completely to how and what you teach in order to be completely confident when you open the door to your teaching. So this is a challenge and it takes time. And if you start off with online meetings, it can be a little bit difficult to get the feel of what the others are thinking. And it can induce some insecurities for teachers. But I think as the project moved on, all anxiety has disappeared and we are very confident in each other's companies. And it has been great to learn from each other and to inspire each other.
And sauna helps, I think.
It does. It's wonderful. Thank you, Finland. Thank you.
So any like recommendation, set up things differently, Lisa? What do you have to say about that?
I think moving forward, we have to think about some of those things that we've taken for granted in the past few years. I think we have to look at teaching English as a dynamic process, and we have to really question all these, because I feel like when I'm teaching, I feel like I am also bound by a lot of obligations and things that I feel like I have to do. And now we sort of have to question, well, whether that's true or not, or maybe we can let go of some of those obligations, and we have to look at teaching English as a more of a dynamic process. And so I think within school, not just within the English teaching team, but also within school, we've been looking at the future a bit differently. And we're really making progress, looking at short-term goals, but also looking at long-term goals. And I think there for the next couple of years, there's really going to be quite a lot of changes within teaching as a whole in our school as well. And so I think it's quite valuable to actually have a reason to think about what we did before and question what we do, and then learn from that as well. And I think through this project we've learned a lot, and I think a lot of things are very useful, and I'm sure we will incorporate them.
Yeah,
yes.
Well, great to hear. Bernadine, what do you have to say about this? Maybe a recommendation or set up things differently, or what?
What we noticed was when we started this project, then suddenly, no, not suddenly, there was COVID. And the first teacher training week was online, and that made it really hard for the teachers to get in contact, to get motivated. And the next teacher training week was physical, and you saw a big change in motivation of the teachers. So physical contact for us was really important.
Physical meetings and physical contact really.
Contact meetings.
Yes, but physical contact is important too. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Bernadine. Johanna, what would you like to say about this?
Yes, I have been in this project from the beginning, and I think that has been really, really nice and wonderful, because I have get to know everybody so well. But one challenge is that it's not so hard, not so easy to find teachers that are or who are available for the whole project. So some of them are changing the school or doing something else for a while and then dropping out of the project. But it would be nice to have everybody in 2 years, 3 years. So it commitment, it's easier then.
Yes, Yeah, that's true. And it's always important to, within a project like this, to create a group that will spread the word within your school, so that you're not depending on the participation of one teacher, of course, but it has to work like an oil stain, slowly spreading. But still, to have some continuity in the teachers joining in the project is highly recommendable. And yeah, we're happy that you stayed for the long run, Johanna. That helps a lot. So thank you. Hannah, is there something you would like to say about this item as well?
Well, participating in a project like this was something new for most of the students participating from Kimpinen School. So I think we have learned quite a lot from this project. I think next time when we participate in something like this, or if we continue doing this, we know in advance what is expected of us that we didn't know before, because this was something completely new for all of us.
Yes. No, yeah, that's a good thing. Well, you can only learn this by doing, I think. With
Yes, exactly.
Learning by doing.
Yeah, you can tell everything you want about Erasmus Plus, but once you're in it, you realize what you can do, what is expected of you.
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. And Nadan, is there something you want to share as well for the recommendation?
No, actually, I wanted to ask you, as the project coordinator, how was for you? So because we have all been listening it from the participants.
Yes.
So while listening to them, I also try to think, how was it from our side? Like trying to reach out to people for different tasks, the things that are needed to be done in the schools. So it was really hard for us, I think, also to keep the fire going with the coordinators, and then they need to keep the fire going for their teachers in their school. So for us to be able to reach out to the teachers was a really indirect process, and it was extremely hard. So I wondered, how was it for you to keep the fire going, for example?
Yes, well, I am always try to be Mr. Positive, but sometimes it's difficult when the responses are low, but that takes me a day of being down and then we go again. So for me, the benefits of a project like this are gigantic. I've coordinated Erasmus Plus projects more frequently. And this is a special one because not only there are schools involved from primary and secondary education. There is an assessment company involved, and there are associated partners from the states with scientific research involved, and who found this project extremely valuable for doing research. So the complexity of this project is huge. And if I see what we have achieved, I'm really proud. We've achieved a change in thinking. We've fired up discussions in every school. And although the changes can be different in school to school, we managed to create a change and to implement changes in every school as well. And that always makes me really happy, because that means that the effects of this project trickle down to the level of the individual student. And that's all that matters to me, to make sure that this happens.
And also for me, you think that your input is always the same? For example, in the teacher training weeks, you come together and input is there it's the same. I mean, we don't follow a different program for a Finnish primary school and a different program for a Danish secondary school. So we all do the things that we do together. So it's there. But when we go back to our schools, or when the schools go back to their schools, how they implement it is so different that I always watch it with like a great awe. We have the same assessments, but then a Finnish school designs a library for that, and then another school has the level classes for that, and then another school does something completely different. So watching that from far, so that was that was my biggest takeaway for the project, for example.
Oh, that's good to hear now. Yeah. I'm also really proud of everyone in the project. I have to say, people are new with Erasmus Plus, and then being in a complex project like this, and then making things happen in the school. It's just wonderful. Also, the things that I heard in the webinar. I believe I briefly saw a text from Veronica. Veronica is the main researcher in the project. Veronica, would you like to use the opportunity to tell a little bit about the research that you have done within the project? If she's there.
She's there because she also sent the website. Chinny can also say. Chinny is also the researcher in our project.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe she just steps away. So yeah, I'll just say a few words. It's really, really nice to hear all these feedback from the teachers. So me and Veronica were leading this project from the US, and it's really the very first time and a great opportunity for us to work directly with classroom teachers and really to gather this longitudinal data, which is amazing. And it really allows us to investigate how students' English develop over time. So we're looking at, like speaking skill development, writing skill development, and the rich data that the teachers have helped us gathered, I think will really make really great contribution to the field for teaching and assessing young learners. So we really appreciate that. But not only that, participating in all these teacher training workshops and getting to know the teachers have been really just an amazing experience for the team. So I think this is really one of the most amazing projects that I've been on. So it's a pleasure, and thank you so much.
Good.
Reinhard, you want to add anything?
Just basically that we oftentimes as researchers don't get the opportunity to work as closely together with teachers in the classroom. So that is a very special context, and I think that is needed on both sides to bridge that gap between research and practice, and kind of, to be mutually informative and actually make a change with the research that you do.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Veronica. I'm happy to hear that. Well, the webinar is almost finished, but the project is slower coming to an end. I would like to point out that we have multiplier events coming up, which are mini conferences. First of all, in Finland, we will participate at Educa, the educational fair, and we will have a mini conference on the 2nd and 9th of February. The 2nd of February will be in Kolding in Denmark, and the 9th will be in Utrecht in the Netherlands. And there we will present all the findings and experiences of this project in really concrete and hands-on workshops. So everyone's here, you're more than welcome. And you can find the information about the multiplier events, the mini conferences, on our website, of course.